everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. I have been watching a few videos on YouTube recently, and I was watching Sue from Paper Inspirations yesterday. She has a video on her channel where she makes faux postage stamps. Now, I've been doing something similar for a little while now using a postage stamp punch from Stampin' Up, I think it's from. Yes, from Stampin' Up. And I've just been using white card to create the little postage stamp background. And I have some here that I've already prepared. They were in my stash. I found them when I was preparing for this video. Oh, look here. I can share with you all my ephemera folio or folder that I created using Gayle Agostinelli's amazing tutorial. And I've been busy fussy cutting, and I haven't got anything on the inside cover yet. I'm saving that for a rainy day. But I do have lots and lots of bits and pieces that I have fussy cut ready for all of my creating. So I'm so excited to have this organized and ready to go, and I'm sure you'll see some of your favorites in here. So I did pop this. I had this little strip here because I'd cut a piece of the vellum incorrectly, and I had this tiny little strip, so I've popped that on there just to stop these lace trims from falling forward. They kept moving towards me as I was using the folder, so that was a good little solution that Gayle actually put. She has done a new video for her ephemera folder. She created one with a bit of a twist, so I think she did something similar in that folder for her trim. So I've copied that, Gayle. I hope you don't mind, but it's fabulous. So anyway, so I'm going to use some bits and pieces out of here, and as I said, I've used or made faux postage stamps using cardstock, but until I watched Sue from Paper Inspiration, I never considered using fabric before. So I wanted to have a play with both of those and just create a few little pieces. And these are some backgrounds that I'm going to use. So they're my backgrounds. I don't have a little postage stamp, and I haven't actually put a postage stamp on them, the ones that I've made previously. So I've pulled these out. I wasn't sure if I could use part of this or part of this stamp here. I thought this one here would work quite well actually, or even this one here, maybe just the corner part. So I've popped those out to have a little play with those, and we'll get started. Now, while I'm doing these, I wanted to have a little chat, or a shout out really, to all of the amazing Etsy shop owners out there. I don't have an Etsy shop. I have no idea what's involved or how it all works. So this is my brown paper, that I have glued together to create a more substantial substrate. It's 3 layers of the paper. So I have a little scrap here, and I've mentioned it in previous videos. You can see it's quite thin. It's kind of the consistency of a paper bag, like that thickness. So I have used a glue stick, and I have just folded it over into 3, gluing each piece down, and it gives me a reasonable sturdiness to be able to use for different things. So I've decided to make some postage stamps using that as my background. So I'm just going to punch out a couple. So back to my Etsy conversation. I don't have an Etsy shop. I have a huge admiration for people who do, because I have no doubt it takes quite a bit of work, and I love what is available to me on Etsy. I'm becoming more and more of a fan of Etsy. I use it for lots of different things as a purchaser or a buyer, not as a seller. And I just love it. I think it's a fabulous forum. Anyway, so On my Etsy page, I have a notifications button, as I'm sure you all do, and it's a great way for me to keep up with the people that I follow or purchase from all the time when they have new items in their shop. And I love that it's a quick indication of anything that they've put in their shop that I haven't seen yet. I just wanted to ask the Etsy store owners, is it possible to create a folder? Now, as I said, I have no idea what work is involved, and this is purely a suggestion / request for, well, to make it more user-friendly for me, really, and perhaps other users out there. I don't know if other users have had the same problems. It may be my lack of knowledge, I don't know. But okay, so when they pop in a new item into their store, it brings up a notification on my system so that I know that I can check out that new item, which is amazing. Can I just say amazing? And I am quite a stalker of the new notifications. Like, I get excited when I see that there's new notifications there. So, sorry, I'm just trying to decide what I want to use for these, and I think I'm going to go to, I'd actually like to try a couple of, so these are from my friend at Noir, I hope I pronounced that right, Noir Art. I will link her Instagram below. I think there's already a link there on previous videos actually, and she does these amazing mandalas. So I don't know, the first time I used them in my journals was when I did the wedding journal, and I really love them. I'm hoping you can see them clearly. Oh yes, I can't see what you see now. I can. And I wanted to have a little play with those as a postage stamp, just to see how they come up. So a huge shout out to my friend who creates these, because they are just beautiful, and I love that I can add them to my journals. Okay, so the notifications. So these notifications come up, and if there's a single item, sorry, forgot to check the focus. If there's a single item that has become available, you can click on that item in the notifications and it takes you to that item. But if the store owner is adding more than one item, it will show. So for instance, if somebody is adding 3 items to their store, it will have like a little thumbnail of each of those items in the notification. And if you click on that notification or one of the thumbnails, it takes you to the store. It doesn't actually take you to the new item. And so the problem I'm having, and please, if anybody knows of a better way, by all means, give me a shout out, comment below and let me know, because I've been really struggling with this. So if I click on there, it takes me to the shop, and then I don't know which ones are new. Does anybody else have that problem? And I click on the notifications and I zoom right in to try and see whether I can possibly read the writing on the notification of what's been posted, and quite often they're not very legible because they are pretty much a thumbnail. When you zoom in, everything becomes blurry. So then I'm like, do you remember the game where you match pairs? It's a card game. I can't think of what it's called. Game of memory. That's what I'm playing, a game of memory. So I zoom in on the picture as much as I possibly can to get an idea of what's actually, sorry, I've left my little glue open just now and I've got little goobers. So I'm zooming in to see whether I can pick images on the thumbnail to be able to use that as a guide to figure out which of the items are new. And sometimes it really is a hit and miss. Like, I don't even know sometimes if I'm looking at the right thing. And I feel like I'm missing out on things because I'm having trouble locating what's new. And, you know, some of the Etsy sellers have an amazing array of products in their store now. And so it's not easy to go through all of the items and know which ones are new and which ones are old, because, you know, there can be hundreds almost of items in their shop. So my question is it possible, to all you Etsy sellers out there, is it possible to have a folder down the side where the little menu is, and that seems to be where you separate the items that you have in your store, so you can separate them into journaling cards or journal kits or what have you? Is it possible to have a folder in there that you call new, and any new items get popped into that folder first? Or as well as, for instance, if they're, I don't know, journal kits, is it possible to put them in the new folder and in the journal kits folder? Now, like I said, I don't know. They're really cute, aren't they? I really love those. So I might make one more. I don't know if it's possible. I just really felt like I had to ask the question. I've spent a lot of time on my Etsy store just recently trying to, like I said, zoom into images and see if I can find the things that are new. And I really don't know if it's me, guys, but I'm struggling. I really am struggling, and I don't want to miss anything from the amazing Etsy sellers that I follow, because, you know, I follow those people because I love their products. So anyway, I don't want to tell you how to do things, but it was just a question, and I didn't know how else to get that question out there. So I hope you all don't mind me bringing it up in my video, and you can completely ignore me if it's too hard or too silly or out of the question, or I don't mind, but I just felt like I wanted to ask so I don't miss your beautiful things. Okay, so I really love those. And we'll stamp them all once we've got them set up. I think we'll do them all in one run. Okay, so sorry, I'm just looking through my ephemera folder. I do have here, so these are just some little pieces of scrapbooking paper that I had in my scraps, and I had stamped, or sorry, punched these out using my square paper punch. And you can see this paper here is actually in my, somewhere, here it is, in my ephemera folder. It's the same. And you can have it either way. So I have used scrapbooking paper to make faux stamps with before, and I think they're really beautiful. So I thought about popping a couple of these on here like this. I think they're really pretty. And you can use any paper for this. And if you have a paper that is a little more plain, I'll show you in a moment. just think that's really pretty. So if, for instance, you have a piece, I might use this one. So it doesn't have a lot on there. I don't know what's on. It's blank on the other side, so it's from a one-sided paper pad. You could still use this, and I have considered popping a little stamp or something on there. I didn't actually pull anything out. I'm wondering what I might be able to use. I'll have a little think. But so which backing now? That is the question. I really like it on the brown. This brown paper is becoming a bit of a favourite, I'm afraid. Which is fabulous because I do have quite a supply of it. I'm getting to the point where I need to glue some more pieces together and set them aside so they can dry. Okay, so when we do our stamping, we'll see if we can find something that we can stamp on there. Okay. They are quite pretty just like that. So I wanted to have a little play with those. We'll pop those away for now. And I wanted to have a play with, sorry, I'm just trying to find out where these went so I can pop them back. And so that's something you could sit and do in front of the TV, is take your little paper scraps and just punch out some little squares to use to make little postage stamps as focal points. I wanted to have a little play with the fabric ones that Sue did. As I said, I'd never considered doing that. So, and when Sue did them, and thank you so much, Sue, for sharing, because I really enjoyed watching your video. When she did them all different sizes, which means you could use any image, any sized image or shaped image that you wanted to. So I wanted to have a little bit of a play with that idea. I don't know whether I've just made this too narrow. Don't give me scissors, I'm dangerous with them. Okay. So I have these little images here, and these are all from ArtVintages, sorry. And again, her shop, her Etsy shop, is listed in my description below. So I just wanted to have a play because I have, I might go for a pink, I think. I have these longer ones and I wasn't sure how they would look. I actually think that's quite cute. So I might make one of those. Let's be honest, when we do these journals, we make the rules. We can have them any size we want. That's my theory anyway. Okay, and I'm going to ink around the image. I went looking in my local Spotlight yesterday for more of this glue, and they don't have any in store at the moment. So I've been Googling and Googling. I like this because it's acid free, and they have a glue. It almost looks the same packaging. It's called a fabric glue, and I haven't purchased it before, or a fabric adhesive I think it is. I haven't purchased it before because the bottle doesn't actually say it's acid free. And I really don't want my papers discoloring any quicker than they need to, so I haven't purchased it. But I did a little research last night, and on the Helmar website it says that it is acid free, so I now know that I can use that as a possible replacement for the quick dry, which I really wish they had put that on the packaging. I've decided I want to ink this fabric. Just a little bit. I just want to give it that little pop around the edges. So yes, if I'd have known that yesterday when I was in shopping, I would have purchased some. But I didn't. It's quite cute. So, and the other thing I was looking at were printers. I'm toying with the idea of purchasing a new printer. I ran out of ink in my printer when I was printing the things for my fussy cutting. And I did print quite a bit, so, but I felt like I'd only just replaced the inks in my printer and it ran out. And I was watching Gayle Agostinelli's, I think it was a question and answer video that she did. And, oh my goodness, there's a really noisy vehicle outside. Don't know if you can hear that, sorry guys. And she mentioned her printer. So at the moment I'm using a Hewlett-Packard 6600, and as you see, the print quality, this was printed on there, the print quality is great. I love it, but it just seems to be chewing through the ink. And if I'm going to be doing these, I really want to be able to print journal kits. I haven't, as I've mentioned before, I haven't gone down the path of the digital kits, and I am so wanting to give them a try, guys. You have no idea. But I'm really scared because I know that it's going to use a lot of ink to print them out, and I also can't do double siding, which I really like to be able to do. So I'm toying with the idea of buying a new printer, and sadly my printer that I have is working fine, so I'm hoping I can sell it to somebody who doesn't need a printer that has such a high volume need, because it's an amazing little printer, but I just don't feel like I'm getting value for money and for what I'm doing. If I was just using it as a home office printer and that was all, it would be perfect, which is what I got it for in the first place. But my needs have changed. So yeah, I went into the shops yesterday I'd actually done a little research online the night before, and I really like that one too. Did some research online to see what these printers were all about, because I hadn't heard of them before Gayle mentioned them on her video. Thank you, Gayle. You're always sharing. You're amazing. So I did a little bit of research, and then I wanted to pop in store and, well, see them in person to get an idea and ask a few questions. In actual fact, the salesman said to me yesterday, so you're asking a lot of technical questions that people don't generally ask when they're looking at printers. And I was like, I'm sorry, I have specific needs. So, I mean, he wasn't upset or frustrated or anything. It was very sweet, but it did kind of make me feel like I was asking too many questions. But I want to make sure it's the right fit. So yeah, that was my day yesterday, which is, well, I didn't get a video posted. I do have one to pop up, which I haven't put up yet, and then there'll be this one, but yeah, it just seems to be busy at the moment. And I finally got to share with you my big DIY project that I've been working on, which was painting my cupboard. It's not a huge cupboard, but I really love it. It's so fresh and bright and cheery in my space. I mean, you can't go wrong with white, really, can you? but it was a great job to get done. That little cupboard has been sitting in my husband's shed for maybe 1.5 to 2 years. Sorry, hubby. And I think he's glad to have it out of there so he can have some space back. And he was amazing. He sanded it all down for me and prepped it. He found the handles for me. I didn't even know he was doing that. Such a sweetheart. Anyway, so I'm so glad to have it in my space, and I've decided I'm using it for fabric storage at this stage. I've got some tubs of fabric in my floor space. As you know, I'm moving spaces, and I've got some plastic tubs of fabric that I really had no idea what to do with them, and I don't really want them in the middle of my floor, which is where they've been sitting. So one of the tubs is full of doilies and fabric and laces and all sorts of beautiful things that I have been given, and I have purchased from little second-hand stores, and I have washed them all up and pressed them all, and they've been sitting in this tub. I really wasn't sure where I wanted to put them, so I've popped that tub in the bottom of the cupboard. Fits perfectly, and there is a little bit of space left to the right of it. I've just got to figure out what containers I want to use. I need something that will slide in and out easily so that I can get to the fabric at the back. I don't want it to be buried in there. So I'm now trying to work out what sort of containers I can use that will fit in there well and slide in and out easily. So it's still kind of a work in progress, but I have more direction now, which is amazing. Okay, so I think they're really pretty too. How are we going for time? 27 minutes. I could probably leave that video there. So we've created a few little stamps. Most of it's been me talking. I do have to stamp them actually. I'm going to use so I've got the Stays on Timber Brown, which is my favorite go-to. As I think I've mentioned before, I don't have a lot of inks, but I really love what I do have. So okay, I might use this one, and I do have my stamping papers. I might use this. And I do want a block. Sorry, guys. Just grabbing my acrylic block. I think it will be easier. Okay. I'm actually going to do it kind of upside down. Oh, that looks amazing. I love that. Okay, good stamp. Do I want to re-ink? I think I do. It doesn't look like there's a lot left on there. Go that way. I'm just going to pop them through, and I haven't actually stamped an image on this one, but we'll see if we can find something. I'm thinking perhaps I should have re-inked that before I stamped it. I didn't get much of an impression, which on that one I think it needs, because there's not a lot of imagery on there, so we may even redo that one. Sometimes they do double takes, don't they? See how we go. As you can see, the numbers, whoops, on here, I've ended up with shadowing, but I quite like that. So I'm not even sure I'll do anything else with that. Okay. And that's just a light impression, which I was hoping for because the picture is so busy. I didn't want to take away from the picture, so that was a bit awkward. I was trying to get to the area I wanted to ink without being in the way. And I want a lighter one on this one, so I'm not re-inking. Okay, and lucky last. Just cleaning off my stamp. I think that's pretty good. And we've added to our stamping paper, which I love. And I'll see if I can pop these here for you and zoom in so that you can see the final results. Oops, sorry guys. I don't know that I've done that very successfully, but that's them. I think they're beautiful, and a huge shout out to Sue from Paper Inspirations for the idea of using the fabric. I really love that. I know you stamped yours before you put your image on. You didn't stamp across the fabric, but I actually really like it stamped across the fabric. And I'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. See you soon. Bye.